Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Joining me today is my Ambai Alwa. Ameen, Ameen Rilah. Ameen is in a highly buzzed industry. I am saying buzzed intentionally because he's in the Islamic financing industry. You know what I mean? Can you just or time travel panni from your A levels up to here? எப்படி இந்த இண்டஸ்ட்ரியில் வந்தீங்க எவ்வளோ நாள் ஆயிக்கிறீங்கன்னு சொல்லி can you give us a
Sure. So,
picture? Yeah.
actually, after A levels for about 3 years, I was in the insurance industry. So, I started my career as an insurance underwriter. Then, it is a Takaful insurance, Islamic insurance. Then, I became the branch manager of a certain branch, and for 3 years, I was there. Then, I joined the banking and finance industry in Islamic finance. So, from there onwards, for about 2-3 years, I was into marketing. And then I became the branch manager, and now for almost about 12 years, and I'm operating as the branch manager.
For the last 12 years, you've been in this industry, yeah.
No, into the management of
Management.
Yeah, earlier I was specialized in marketing for 3 years, but after that, overall the entire management segment I'm looking into.
The podcast theme was very simple, Tan. So we are going to um, touch upon a basic or common topic on touch panni, and we are going to drill down to the basics of that. So last podcast was about crypto, and this is going to be about Islamic vehicle finance. So for the sake of this podcast and also some other reasons that we are not going to disclose the company name. And also, another Visham I wanted to know, how does your typical day looks like as a branch manager in this specific
Of course, like these days, actually, it's very busy. Mashallah, there are a lot of vehicle finances happening these days, especially unregistered vehicles. So literally, I would say like these last 3-4 months, it's very busy.
So it's is it like a typical 9 to 5 job on madri?
Not really.
Huh.
It extends it. It goes all the way around. Like
Okay.
even after 9 also, after 5 also, I used to get calls sometimes.
Okay. Right. So before we get into the intricacies of this Islamic financing, first tell me, people interchangeably use this word. Finance, leasing, அப்படின்னு சொல்லி இதுக்கு they use multiple words தான். இதுக்கு உண்மையான சரியான term என்ன? Finance or finance?
It's like you can call it either ways. People, as per their language expertise, they used to call it and their slang.
Okay.
So basically, it goes mostly we say finance.
Finance.
Yeah.
So we'll stick to finance.
Yeah.
It's a Islamic vehicle finance. Right. Okay. அடுத்தது வந்து I wanted to try, address the elephant in the room. Mostly people has an understanding between conventional banking and Islamic banking. And one of the main difference is that the conventional banking it's based on riba, right? Interest. When it comes to Islamic banking, it is basically it's based on profit, right? Profit sharing. Now, misconceptions or complications வருது எப்போ எதுன்னா when it comes to Islamic financing or vehicle, in this matter vehicle financing in வரப்போக்குள்ள people have a lot of question. What is the difference between conventional conventional finance or vehicle finance versus Islamic vehicle finance?
Conventional finance, in the sense, it's basically based on interest. So the agreements also goes on interest terms.
Okay.
In Islamic finance, as you said, it's mainly based on profits.
Okay.
And it's not only the interest component, that there are another two major things in Islamic finance. One called, which we have to be concerned of, is maisir and gharar. So which is uncertainty and speculation.
Those are Arabic terms. Yeah,
the Arabic term. And gharar. So gharar, maisir, riba. அந்த மூணு டேர்ம்ஸை தான் நாங்கள் அவாய்ட் பண்ணுறதுக்கு பார்க்குறது ஃபைனான்சிங்கில். ஸோ ஸ்பெக்யூலேஷன்ஸ், uncertainty and interest. அந்த மூணு இதுக்கும் ரிலேட்டடான பிஸ்னஸஸ், or whatever the purpose of the customer who wants, the client, if he wants for a financing based on anything which is uncertain or which has speculations, those things will create controversy. ஸோ நாங்கள் அந்த இடத்துல கொஞ்சம் டீப்பாக பர்பஸை பார்க்குறது. இஸ்லாமிக் ஃபைனான்ஸ்ட மெயின் வந்து நாங்கள் பர்பஸ் தான் மெயினாக பார்க்குறது. ஸோ இஃப் த பர்பஸ் இஸ் கிளியர், we go ahead. So that's the main difference. So on the profit, some people say that either way you put it as interest or profit, both it's same. No, concept so make it.
Oh.
But we cannot. I'll come on to it later. So other and the agreement wise one, it differs. And the agreement mitchum differences is. So that differentiation only differentiates us from conventional Islamic finance.
Riba, interest, I understood. Speculation, and what is the other one you said?
Uncertainty.
Uncertain. What? Can you give me one example for this?
Now, for example, simple example, lottery tickets, uncertain.
Okay.
Anyways, in Islam, it's not allowed. Yeah, we don't go for it. Yeah, so that is one of the basics. So those kind of businesses, there can be uncertain things. There are deep meanings to it. So just to have a basic idea, that's the main thing.
Something like, okay, you made sure Islamic vehicle financing made sure that we don't touch into these components, and we take or give or share something that is based on profit.
Correct.
Sorry.
Exactly.
Okay.
And there should be a item, there should be a profit determined, and there should be a acceptance by the client who is buying. You should accept before you take it to your custodies. That way only the finance happens. So offer and acceptance, we call it mainly. The offer should be there should be acceptance.
Okay, you provide me the offer. As
Yeah.
a customer, I accept that offer.
Of course.
And
After that only we deliver. For on the acceptance both sides should agree.
ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ನಾ ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಂದು ಇದೋட ಸೇರಿದ ಮತ್ತೆ ಸಿಲ ಇಸ್ಲಾಮಿಕ್ ಕಂಪೋನೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇರಿಗಿತಾನೆ. So I have seen in this a lot of Islamic finance companies, Islamic finance companies. I have seen these advertisements, Murabaha, Ijara, Afudi. So what is that?
Right. Mainly these days Sri Lanka nanga practice pandra main products rendu than Ijara and Musharaka. Earlier we were giving Murabaha, but Murabaha technically there are a lot of requirements to fulfill to make it a full proper product. So because of that, Ijara and Musharaka only most practice pandrom. In layman terms, like conventional general terms சொல்றேன்டா leasing and loans. அதில் Islamic leasing என்றதுல அர்த்தம் தான் Ijara, Islamic loans தான் Musharaka.
Okay.
So Ijara also we go ahead and Musharaka also we go ahead. So it depends on the customer because Musharaka வந்து மிச்சமே நாங்கள் கொடுக்குறது ஹை நல்ல எங்களுக்கு அவனோட credibility and you might know, people also might know that crib reporting ஒன்று இருக்குது. ஸோ அதில் we check their credibility, past payment history and all. அதை பேஸ் பண்ணி தான் நாங்கள் we decide whether we are going for a Ijara or Musharaka. So these days the most popular product is Musharaka. So that's the main differences. So main product wise பார்க்கல Ijara meaning என்னன்னு சொன்னா leasing in short simple விளங்குறண்டா vehicle, company's vehicle, it lease the vehicle to you and at the end of the period you will be gifted the vehicle. We promise to gift in the document order, we will give it as a gift. So other than leasing terms, our leasing terms the company will have the ownership, even insurance, whatever it is, the company has the right to decide. Musharaka என்றது ஒரு joint venture, ஒரு partnership agreement on the மாதிரி. You and the customer and the company, they go on a partnership agreement, and whereas you go with a unit purchase concept, unit concept. More the units you pay back or you purchase, then the ownership of yours increases. So Musharaka is more like a partnership agreement. Musharaka. So Musharaka is very popular because Ijara leasing new government stamp duty, புதிய stamp duty structure படி 2% total receivable கட்டணும், including the profit. Total வர profitல vehicle capital plus profit total 2% has to be paid to the government as stamp duty. Musharaka it's not there. In loans it's not there still. In the government they are not implemented. Because of that, people prefer Musharaka, and agreement wise also Musharaka is more kind of lenient towards the client. In case if he defaults or whatever, customer chances good. So we are very selective to give Musharaka because we know the papers are not that strong compared to Sri Lankan legislation.
Just to be on the safer side, you try to not get into Musharaka. You don't encourage that a lot.
No, we do because mashallah, we get good high-end clients. Our clientele is good.
Okay.
Out of if the repayment capacity and customers' credit records are perfect, we push them to go for musharaka because it's beneficial for them compared to the charges and all. So that way.
So ijara is basically the leasing term for in Arabic. Leasing என்றதுக்கு நான் Arabic term. Musharaka means the Islamic loan.
Yeah, joint venture.
Joint
You can
venture.
share
Okay.
partnership agreement.
Right. So இந்த musharakaவும் as you said murabaha or ijara இது எல்லாத்தையும் வந்து ஒவ்வொரு ஒவ்வொரு பேங்க்கும் வந்து அவங்களுக்கு ஏத்த மாதிரி இத அதாவது obviously you have Sharia, right? Quran Hadithல இருந்து வாரத்தை you definitely take it and then you try to adjust it according to the Sri Lankan law. Ilati, how does this work?
No. That's the sensitive area which people doesn't understand. Normally Sri Lankan legislation Islamic law, Sharia law வந்து practice ஆவரே குறவு. We don't have the Sharia law, especially in terms of financing. So you might know divorces and marriages acts அத மாதிரி செல்லதுவலுக்கு மட்டும் தான் Islamic Sharia law implementation வந்து Sri Lankan legal systemத்துல இருக்குது. But generally இந்த agreements எல்லாம் வந்து எங்களோட நார்மல் காமன் Sri Lankan combined law systemத்துல தான் இருக்குது. Sharia வந்து என்னன்னா கம்ப்ளையன்ஸ் ரோல் ஒன்று தான் ப்ளே பண்ணுது, நாட் அ லீகல் சைட். ஸோ நார்மலி ஏசிஜே ஆல்சிலம் ஜமித்துல்லா பற்றி அவங்க இஸ்லாமிக் ஃபைனான்ஸுக்கு என்ன ரோல் ப்ளே பண்ணுறாங்கன்றது சும்மா ஜெனரலி ஐம் ஜஸ்ட் ஆஸ்கிங் யூ what do you think about it? Like, how do you see them in this case?
Maybe I think that they basically play the advisory role for all these Islamic finance institutions or layer under that. And the layer kila, they make sure that okay, these Islamic people are complying to the Sharia rules.
See, that's why I asked you this question. ACJU has nothing to do with it. அவங்களோட like ஆல்சிலம் ஜமியத்துல்லமா, a lot of people think ஜமியத்துல்லமா has approved all these institutions and based on their approval it's happening in the something. அப்படி இல்லை. இது எப்படின்னு சொன்னா we the companies have their own Sharia advisory committee, Sharia advisory board the sense. So அந்த கமிட்டி மெம்பர்ஸ் வந்து ஜமியத்துல் உலமா லீக்கிற உலமாக்களாகவும் இருக்கலாம், இல்லாதவங்களாகவும் இருக்கலாம். So Jamiatul Ulama has nothing to do with this. This is the individual committees which play the role in the individual different institutions. So for our bank or the company, it's a different Sharia board. So the same some ulamas are in other companies Sharia board also. So based on their guidance only, we look into the compliance part. What I said earlier, the Garar, Maisir, Riba, those three been avoided. And the Sharia company, the purpose, according to the purpose, have we given it proper, accurately. So for one example, like now a person is coming for a facility, even you can take it as a vehicle, or you can finance your vehicle and take money for business purpose also. So in conventional or the general terms, we call it sale and lease back. So those type of facilities for business purpose we can give. But a person who owns a bar or who owns those kind of things, it's anyways not allowed, no? So we cannot finance them. So there comes the purpose. So அதே மாதிரி நாங்கள் அந்த நிறைய இன்டெப்திக்கு அதில் the general won't understand those deep concepts which we follow. But in general, this Sharia board is there just to guide us, that's it. But legally there is no bonding actually. It's totally.
அப்போ நீங்க சொன்னீங்க you have a Sharia board ன்னு சொல்லி. So அதுல வந்து you can have members who are already there in ACJU or people who are not in ACJU also. That means you can have an alim in your board. But is it only an alim or is it a group of alim or you have other professionals also?
It's like this. It's a group of alims. Now a lot of leading institutions, we have an in-house Sharia Maulavi as well on our day-to-day activities just to monitor it. Some companies, they have Sharia board which they do the annual audit. So it differs, but generally வந்து Sharia board என்றது வந்து company wise it differs, but it will be a group of alims. And normally for Islamic finance, we used to issue a Islamic audit report, financial audit report. So in that, the Sharia committee will give a certification that everything had been complied. according to Sharia. So that is the it's basically, as I tell, it's a compliance side of a part that they play.
Or government leaders of
Yeah.
So you will have uh, a group of alims, maybe an in-house alim, and then lawyers. இத மாதிரி ஒரு set of professionals இருப்பாங்க அப்படியே.
Of course, lawyers it's common to the entire company. But lawyers, of course, they will be playing the role where to comply with central bank.
Center. No, I'm asking specifically about this Sharia board. Is it only group of ulamas?
Yes, only group of ulama.
அவங்க மட்டும் தான் இருப்பாங்க. And they should be well versed with Islamic finance.
Well, yeah, because the even ulamas, they might know among their community. There are specific educated and scholars who are specialized in Islamic finance. Not everyone is qualified to to give or being able to advise on it. Yeah.
Okay, is it a company specific Sharia board, or it's just one Sharia board towards multiple different institutions?
No, it's a company specific Sharia.
Okay.
Now, a Sharia board member who is a member of our Sharia board can be a member of another company Sharia board.
Okay.
And he can be a top rank in the Jamiatul Ulama setup as well.
Okay. That is clear. Now, இன்னொன்று வந்து இப்போ now every conventional banking, right, say commercial bank, it has its commercial Islamic, right? HNB has its Islamic, and they also offer Islamic financing in the vehicle leasing இந்த விஷயங்கள்லாம் offer பண்ணுது, right? People அந்த ஒரு worries-உம் இருக்கிற, I mean worry-என்றதை விட concern இருக்கிறது, like still they are conventional. All what they are just to attract the Muslim community, they have started up a new Islamic facility. Is that a misconception, or it is?
Of course, it is like this much, and like you cannot satisfy everyone, isn't it? And everybody, even in the Islamic context, every religion also, they have their own divisions. Yeah. So I don't want to go deep into it, but basically the Sharia board, who is the responsible governing body for those individual institutions. So even our bank or whatever, and the other companies, everything, it's the same. So in this case, what happens is it's all based on the governance given by the board. So the Sharia board normally people has to look at the Sharia board. If the board is okay, then it's okay. And normally in Islamic finance, they do it properly because the agreements and all also goes deeply into Islamic finance. No? So it's mainly Islamic finance is based on belief. No? So anga enga sari or mistake ondi inda, that will create a big bad impact, because of that, banks and all, they are very much keen to make sure that Sharia compliance is adhered properly. Adanala they look into it deeply. So people don't get that point actually. Mostly they see that of course your point is correct. Yeah.
They think, okay, அவங்க ஆல்ரெடி they are conventional banking, அதில் அதில் நடக்கிற டிரான்சாக்ஷனும் இந்த டிரான்சாக்ஷன்ஸும் வந்து மிக்ஸ் ஆகாதா அப்படின்னு ஒரு யோசிக்கிறேன்.
Yeah, that's a good question you asked me. So normally in basically even in our bank setup, what we do is we have a separate Islamic account, current account, Islamic account to do the transactions. It's not mixed. So we make sure even the financials, when we publish, we show it separately. This is it. So there are a lot of that's why I said the outside, the layman or the public will not understand those deep concepts.
Right.
But generally we make sure the Sharia board is looking into us correctly, and it's given the governance and the guidance are given properly, and it is audited and published. So based on the Islamic audit report only, people, especially for foreign investors and all, Islamic foreign investors, they look into the audit report from Dubai, Malaysia and all. So based on that audit report only, Islamic audit report only, they intend to invest. So when it comes to investment, there are some concepts which differ from conventional. I'll come to it later. So you can have a general idea on it also.
So I was doing a little bit of research when I started, when I decided that we are going to have this conversation. Then according to Sri Lanka's, Department of Motor Traffic, as of Q3 2023, right, approximately 30% of the population owns a vehicle. how many percentage do you think are relying towards general leasing, vehicle leasing or financing?
That's a good question. According to my knowledge,
Okay.
I may be wrong,
Yeah.
but according to my knowledge, almost more than 80%.
Oh, that's a large number.
Yeah, of course. They rely on vehicle leasing
Okay.
or loans, whatever it is. They go for a finance facility. And based on that only, it's taken in, according to my knowledge.
And say that we have, okay, I gave you this 30 percentage number, and then 10 percentage is Muslims. Out of this 10 percentage Muslims say that, the same 30 percentage owns a vehicle. How many people do you think out of this is looking for Islamic financing?
That's a good question. In my opinion, I think maybe about 60%.
50% they look for,
Yeah.
because mostly when they consider about leasing, they made sure my monthly rate should be, within a budget,
Mm.
right? They made sure that
Yeah.
anything within that, they just go for it. பட் அதுலேயும் கூட வந்து 60% நீங்கள் சொல்கிறீங்க 60%க்கு மேலே they make sure that it is an Islamic financial method அப்படியா?
In this is I'm not accurate, but I have a guess based on the inquiries I have, like the calls I get and the people who come towards for in terms of need of finance. So actually, Sri Lankan Muslim community, as you also might know, mostly they are towards business.
Okay.
The employed crowd is less. So I am that again, yet I am not sure, but I think it might be accurate. GDP, Sri Lanka's total GDP, the 33% is contributed by Muslim community. So that community has a high need of finance because they are mostly into business. So not if you're a employee or whatever, that way you will need one vehicle maybe. So but if you're into business and all, you will need a lot of vehicles to expand our business loans and whatever it is. So to expand it, you will need the working capital basically. For that you will find ways. So that you will go for a finance. So that way I feel it's more than 60% they seek for Islamic finance.
மாஷாஅல்லாஹ் அல்ஹம்துலில்லாஹ். ஏன்னா அதே பெரிய விஷயம் தானே இல்லையா? அது ப்ரோ ஹலால் சைடில் ஏன்னா மார்க்கம் என்ன சொல்லுதோ அந்த சைடில் நான் போகணும் யோசிச்சு தான் அப்படி வாராங்க. ஸோ
இந்த இதில் டு பி மோ லைக் ஒரு சும்மா ஒரு இதாக சொல்கிறேன்டா ஒரு ஒரு ஸ்ட்ரெயிட் ஃபார்வர்டும் இல்லை ஒரு రౌండ్ అప్ ఆన్సర్ నుండి சொல்கிறேன்டா తక్కువ పడి ఫెసిలిటీ எடுக்க பார்த்தா இட்ஸ் டிஃபிகல்ட் 100% నో కంట్రీ ఐ డోంట్ నో వీఆర్ నాట్ ముస్లిం కంట్రీ ఆల్సో సో తక్కువ పడి ఫెసిలిటీ எடுக்க కష్టం ఫత్వా పడి தான் எடுக்கும் ఫత్వా పడి தான் போகிறாங்க సో దట్ ఫత్వా కమిటీ ఇస్ అవర్ షరియా బుక్ ఎవ్రీ కంపెనీ హ్యాస్ దే ఓన్ షరియా బుక్
now the government has eased the vehicle imports and everything. The countries இல்லாத ஒரு crazy vehicle market ஒன்று ஸ்ரீலங்காவில் இருக்குது. So there is so much happening within this industry, and people who has enough funds, they are going for a LC and they are trying to get their vehicle down. உள்ள latest shiny vehicle எல்லாத்தையும் பார்க்குறோம். அப்போ இந்த ஷைனி வெஹிக்கிள் நான் பார்க்குற ஒருத்தருக்கு வந்து இனாஃப் ஃபண்ட்ஸ் இல்லைன்னு சொன்னால், இந்த மாதிரி இந்த வெஹிக்கல் ஃபைனான்சிங் இல்லாமல் வந்து அவங்க ட்ரீம் வெஹிக்கிள் ஒன்று எடுக்கிறதுக்கு ஒரு ஹெல்ப் ஒன்று பண்ணுற மாதிரி தான். Now I'll ask you, this is very simple. What are the steps? So what are the criteria? என்னென்ன செக் பாக்ஸஸ் எல்லாம் நாங்கள் செக் பண்ணணும் if I want to get a lease approved from a company like yours?
First thing, mainly we look into the client. So there are various aspects which we could look. One is his credit report, the crib report. Our past history said that mostly if they are taken facilities, we look into it, how they have paid it. So that is the main vital area which we look into. Second thing is the client's repayment capacity. If he's an employee, his pay sheets or the whatever additional incomes he's getting, those way business also audited reports and and his current account. Some people, they show healthy transactions, but end of the day their bank balance is debit, it's not a credit balance, so it's OD. We know that his money is just his cash flows are not healthy. Those way we can get an idea. So those things they are the criteria in terms of repayment. And third thing is the asset, the vehicle, whether is it marketable, can we sell it, or is it, in case if he couldn't pay, or will benefit or no sooner it's registered will the value come down. அப்படி க்ரைட்டீரியாஸ்க்கு பார்ப்போம். ஸோ வெஹிக்கலும் ஒரு இது. And mostly distance wise customer our the area location. So now say for example a customer in Colombo wants actually the customer is working in Colombo but his hometown is in the east, say Kathankudi, Kalmone, whatever. So he's here for rent. So he's on a short term business or short term employment or whatever business, so that we will trace back to his residence. So if we have to give a facility, mostly we will prefer to give it from, if there is a branch or whatever setup in his area, we may give. It depends on that also. And there are a lot of technical sides we look into, but basically it's not that big rocket science or anything to get a facility. It's so easy.
நானோட ஃப்ரெண்டுன்னு சொன்னால் அமீன் வந்து எனக்கு லீஸ் தாங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லி நீங்கள் அப்படி உடனே தர மாட்டேது இப்படி இந்த க்ரைட்டீரியாஸ் மூணு செக் ஆகும்.
Okay. Because basically the main thing what we as a bank we see is, if it's my money, will I lend you? That's the main concept which we look into. ஏண்ட சல்லி ஆயிருந்தா நான் உங்களுக்கு கடன் தருவேனா, அதை நான் பார்க்குறேன். அப்போ எனக்கு அது கான்ஃபிடென்ட் ஆயிருந்தா, கட் ஃபீல் இட் சேஸ் இவர் கொடுத்தா, some people they won't even have proper documented evidence, பட் பார்க்கக்குள்ள அவங்களோட லிவிங் கண்டிஷன் அதெல்லாம் if we do a visit and see, we will know okay இவருக்கு கொடுத்தா சம்பட் இல்லாட்டி references. Even worst case scenario we may take personal references also with the neighbors or the business community, then we go ahead with the facility. So it's all based on our intuition
also.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the client also should have the intuition to pay back. I will pay back in the இது ஈக்கிறண்டா they can go smooth.
Even for a person who is getting a monthly salary, இவருட இதுவும் ஒரு லிமிட் வந்து இருக்குது. அப்போ அது அப்படி ஒரு லிமிட்.
Normally we call it a DSCR calculation. அது 60% வரைக்கும் கொடுப்போம். Banks normally they follow not only for vehicle, for properties, for personal loans, whatever. But Islamic Finance we don't have personal loans and all. That's a different concept. But 60% of his income, net income, not the gross. Net income la 60% வரைக்கும் we can go for a facility. The 40% we leave it for his other expenses and miscellaneous needs.
So net income la 60% வரைக்கும் he can right. Okay. Does it differ to company to company? Or
yeah, it can differ.
These criteria?
Yes, it's a general term normally in the banking and finance industry which we use, but it can vary.
No, I'm asking that all four criteria, so intuition or the Setana Sola, are these uniform between all the other finance?
Almost it's the same, because they are also concerned, like anyway, because it's the investors' funds. Investors are trusting on us and they're investing. In terms of they can invest as a share, because since most of the institutions are public listed, they invest in shares. So then they can put fixed deposits, savings accounts. Those funds we are responsible, because we are having those funds at a cost and we are lending it back with a slight margin. So that's the way the concept works. So in that also, as I said you earlier, when that topic comes, I will explain what's the difference between the FDs and savings of Islamic and conventional.
I am not able to repay that, right? அந்த அமௌண்ட் இப்போ எனக்கு இது 2 years நான் யூஸ் பண்ண வெஹிக்கிளுக்கு நான் எனக்கு கட்டிக்கொள்ள இல்லாத ஒரு வசதி. ஏன்னா எனக்கு என்ன பர்சனல் எக்ஸ்பென்ஸே பண்ணிக்கொள்ள இல்லாத நிலம். Now, what would you guys advise, or what do you guys encourage on that situation? Safekeeping.
Yeah.
What about the
That's the Arabic Wadiya. You call it Wadiya. That's a very popular product among the community these days, because for small needs even they need money.
தமிழ் மூவிஸ் எல்லாம் மாதிரி இந்த ரவுடிஸ் எல்லாத்தையும் வச்சு லீஸை கட்டாத அந்த வெஹிக்கிளை தூக்கிறோம் அப்படின்லாம் இருக்குது.
Of course.
And also the other way, I am purchasing a vehicle for 10 million, right? And I am coming for a lease. Now within 1 year, 1.5 years, something happens to the economy or something happens to the vehicle market that we have. The vehicle drops to say 8 million or 7.5 million. இப்படி என்னக்குள்ள நான் உங்களுக்கு கட்டி முடிய போக்குள்ள I would have paid a lot more money தானே. BYD vehicles தானே, Chinese vehicles basically. இன்னும் BYD தான் நான் எனக்கு ஸ்ரீலங்காவில் 2-3 மாடல்ஸ் வந்து சைனீஸ்ட்டு BYD ஓட. ஸோ what do you think? BYD ki I don't have a vehicle or say I own a vehicle, I'm going to sell it and I'm planning to get a new BYD. Is that a good idea? We touched a lot about vehicle financing. What about the other finance? For an example, conventional fixed deposit நீங்க சொன்னீங்க, right? லைட்டா டச் பண்ணிட்டு போனீங்க. Conventional fixed deposit versus Islamic fixed deposit. Are there a difference? What about Islamic and conventional insurance policies?
Insurance is different topic actually. I'm